welcome back, downsizers. I am so happy that you are watching this video with me this week. This is week 9, and let me tell you, we have a lot to review. Now, because we have so much, I'm thinking that this video might be kind of long, and if you've been watching any of my other videos, you know I can be a little mouthy. So, pause me, go get yourself something to drink, get yourself a snack, and come on back because we have lots to talk about. Okay, now that you are all settled in, come sit right here next to me on the couch because we are about to go through week 9. So, if you watched last week's video, you heard me talking about how I wanted to lose weight that was a number that made me feel like it was worth it, so to speak. That this was a number where I couldn't have lost this amount of weight on my own. Well, from my mouth to God's ears, and does he not have a sense of humor? Okay? I'm going to go ahead and no, I'm not going to tell you how much I lost. I'm going to tell you about my week first. Okay? So, last week I did the update Wednesday. From about Tuesday to Friday, I had the most unusual craving for a donut. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is unusual is because I am a pastry girl, but for me, it's more cake, more cupcakes, things of that nature. For me to have this overwhelming craving for this donut was just completely unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I tell my husband, honey, I feel like I'm going to eat somebody's arm off if I don't get a donut. Don't you have a taste for a donut? Why don't you go get you a donut and save me half of it and bring it home? And so he's like, are you serious? Yes, baby, I'm serious. I need a donut. Okay, so you go get you a donut and bring me half. So he says, well, what kind of donut do you want? I said, whatever you got to taste for, just get the donut, bring it back. Okay. So he goes out, does his errands for the day, and when he returns, he proved right then in that moment he does not love me. Instead of bringing me half a donut, which is what I requested, he brings home a box of 6 Krispy Kremes. A box of donuts. A whole box. That's not love. That's not love. That's not what love does. That's not evidence of love. So after I get finished fussing at him about how he brought me home this box of donuts, I eat a donut. Okay? I ate a donut. It was a jelly donut. I eat the whole donut. Now, thankfully, Krispy Kreme donuts are kind of small. Thank you, Jesus. So, when I ate the donut, I still felt like I was like twisted up in knots and my stomach was full. Like the donut sat all the way in my throat. Like I definitely should not have eaten this donut. But I'm going to tell you, everybody, that donut was so worth it. That was the best thing. I'm telling you right now, that donut was so good, y'all. But my stomach was hurting. Now, I didn't dump. I did not, vomit or anything like that. I was able to keep down the donut. But the way I was feeling that day, even had I done all those things, that donut would have been worth it. I'm just here to tell you right now. That donut was so good. Now, out of this box of 6 donuts, that was the only donut I ate. And I will also say that donut actually cured my craving. It wasn't like not satisfying or anything like that. And it didn't send me back into my sugar addiction where I just needed more and more sugar. I ate that donut and I went right back onto my regularly scheduled dieting plan. Okay? But that donut story is important for what else happened during the week, okay? So Saturday night, we go out on our date. We go out to dinner, and this is my first time since I've been released on my full diet that I decided to have some seafood. Now, y'all know I love seafood, so I order 6 shrimp and a little bit of lobster, and I eat 2 of the 6 shrimp at dinner. And a little scoop of mashed potatoes with some lobster, and I'm satisfied. I'm happy. Everything is amazing. Okay, I stayed within my 4 ounces. I ate food that I'm approved to eat, and I'm feeling good. Well, when we get home that evening, I'm laying in the bed and all of a sudden I get extremely hot. This is 2 or 3 hours after dinner, okay? I get hot, I start sweating a little bit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am about to throw up. So I jump out the bed, I run to the bathroom, and I'm just in the bathroom, and nothing's coming up. So at first, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not leaving this bathroom because I know something is about to happen. So then I start dry heaving, okay? And when I'm dry heaving, I'm like, oh my goodness, my stomach is empty because my food has had more than enough time to process from dinner. And I'm in there, I'm feeling terrible, okay? So I end up throwing up a little bit of bile or stomach acid. And after that happens, I'm feeling horrible. You know, normally after you bring up the food, you kind of feel better. Not me. I'm feeling horrible. So I go back into bed. I wash myself up, brush my teeth, get myself together, go back to bed, and try to go to sleep. I don't sleep well because I don't feel good, okay? So the next day I tell my husband, I don't know what happened to me. I got so sick, okay? I'm not correlating this sickness to that seafood. I'm genuinely not at all. So the next day I have leftovers, and what do? I eat it again. Don't ask me why I ate it again. In this moment right now, I can't tell you why. Okay? I can't even explain it to you even if I wanted to. No one knows why I ate the food again. So the next day I eat the food again. And a few hours later, I start feeling hot, feeling a little nauseous, but I was able to keep the food down. Now, something that you learn through the course of your process of having the surgery is when you introduce a food to your body and you don't tolerate it well, that doesn't mean that you can't have it. That just means that you need to wait a week and reintroduce it, okay? So I should have waited a week and tried to reintroduce it, or maybe even 2 weeks, okay? And tried to reintroduce shrimp and lobster, or whatever the case may be, maybe even something a little softer for the system like crab first, and tried to reintroduce it into your system, and then see if it's going to be a forever tolerance or my system just isn't ready for it. However, on day 2, I don't vomit. I don't have anything like that. So I'm feeling pretty good. Okay. Now, so these are the unusual foods that I've eaten during the week. Okay. I've eaten some unusual foods. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I won't do this again. I'll be fine. I'm going to move forward. Well, I start going to the bathroom. Now, I think that I have mentioned in several of my videos that I have been extremely constipated, okay? I start going to the restroom like never before. I'm going to the bathroom. I wake up in the morning, I'm going in the afternoon, I'm going in the evening, and it's, it's nothing pretty, but it's not making me feel sick. My stomach isn't cramping. I'm not hot, I'm not sweating, so it just seems like pretty regular, but it's not a solid consistency. I'm trying to be gentle with my words, okay? So we're going to fast forward to Monday. After all this stomach stuff is going on, I'm back to my regular diet. I've decided I need to get myself together. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get myself together. Monday was my 2-month anniversary, meaning even though we already did the 8 weeks, this is actually 2 months to the day from when I had the gastric sleeve surgery. So the 11th of every month, I take full body pictures so that I can do a comparison shot every month. And then I just try to reflect on what happened the previous month. I need to start making some monthly videos, but I haven't gotten there yet. Still getting comfortable with this. So one other thing that I do is I weigh myself, okay? So I weigh myself and I immediately am like, oh my God, the scale is broke. So I go get the other scale. I have 2 scales. They're both digital. They link into your phone, take your body biometrics, all of those good things. So I go get the other scale and it is the exact same weight as the other scale. Now, I'm like, wait a minute. There's no way that I could have, that this number is my real weight after what I've been through this week. There just is no way. So I tell myself, I'm not going to weigh myself again until Wednesday. I'm not going to weigh myself. I'm just going to wait until Wednesday. Okay? Now, I'm saying all of that to say I have had a crazy week, and I'm going to tell y'all what my number is. Okay? We still calling out lottery numbers this week. So if you recall, last week, if I'm not mistaken, I weighed 327 pounds. That was last week. This week, I weighed 320 pounds. I honestly can tell you from the bottom of my heart, there is no way I did anything to lose 7 pounds this week. No way. But this is how God's sense of humor works. He says, oh, you want to see a number that you couldn't do on your own? I'm going to give you a number that you couldn't do on your own. And I'm going to give you a touch of diarrhea to go with it. That's how his sense of humor works. I'm just telling you. So I'm going to be a lot more careful before I start spitting out about what I want to see happen. Clearly what I want makes no difference. And I need to shut up about it. So I'm proud to say that the number this week is 320 pounds. And if I'm not mistaken, it's 320.2. So I have lost 7 pounds this week. Woo! And that was with eating the donut. Now, if you know me, you know I like to research just about everything. And what I found is that when you put your body in a state of ketosis for a long period of time, sometimes you get to a place where you kind of plateau, and eating some of those carbs restarts that system to start burning. And I'm wondering if that jelly donut was not the magic key that made my system start burning again. I'm not sure. I can't make any guarantees about that. But I'm just questioning if that might not be the situation that happened with me. So that's where we are. Again, I didn't do anything unusual. I went to do my ghetto water aerobics twice this week. Had a lot of fun doing it. And I go tonight and then I go one more time this week. But again, nothing extra, nothing special happened. So I can't wait to see what next week brings. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk to us about is things I wish I knew before my surgery, right? There is a lot of information out there and a lot of it can be overwhelming. And sometimes it's hard to know where to get reputable information from. And so I've made a list of 8 things that I wish I knew before I had my surgery. Now, some of these things, I will admit, I was able to learn from my previous weight loss surgery when I had the lap band, but I still feel like these are important nuggets of information that you wish you would have known. So I have my handy dandy notebook. Y'all know I love notebooks. I love making lists. And so we're going to go through a few of these things, and I hope that you find this information helpful. All right, so the first thing that I wish I knew before surgery was there are no rules. None. There are no rules, okay? What do I mean? You want to know? Okay. What I mean is that every doctor has their own set of guidelines, and none of these guidelines are the same. Some surgeons make you lose weight before the surgery, some don't. Some require for you to go through additional nutrition classes in addition to what the insurance requires. Some don't. Some release you from the hospital with blood thinners. Some don't. Some will make you do a full liquid diet or a clear liquid diet the day you return home from the hospital. Some put you home on soft foods or pureed foods. There are absolutely no rules. Why is that good? Because it allows you to have a variety of programs that you can choose from. There is no one size fits all. So if you go see a surgeon and you find out that their program is too strict for you, you can shop around. You can shop around and find a program that you can fully dedicate to that meets your dietary needs, that meets where you are in your life, and you can have the surgery. Because somebody says, hey, you have to lose 50 pounds to be in my program, that doesn't mean that it's over for you. Look around and see, right? Maybe that's because your BMI puts you in a different risk factor, right? Or maybe it's because that's just their stipulation to make sure that you are committed to their program. Either way, it doesn't matter. Shop around. Shop around. Why not? All right. Second thing, of course, is shop around for a surgeon. I should have known, right? The reason why it's important to shop around for a surgeon is because between the surgeon and the anesthesiologist, you are putting your life in someone else's hands. You want to be comfortable with this person. You want to be comfortable and trust that they know what they're doing and that everything is going to be okay. You don't want your blood pressure to shoot up because you really don't like their bedside manner, or because you're anxious about the fact that they said something to you that didn't make you comfortable. Find a surgeon and a doctor's office to support your transition that you are comfortable with. Don't just go to Dr. Joe Smo because somebody else in your neighborhood or at your job went to that surgeon. I mean, I'm not saying eliminate them just because somebody else went there, but do your own research and find a doctor that's right for you, okay? I was blessed that I love my doctor, my surgeon. He's very quiet. He answers all my questions, but when you look at him, you can tell he loves what he does. And one time I was there and I said, do you like performing these surgeries? And he looked at me with a straight face and he said, I love it. How could I not? It always turns out fabulous and I'm changing people's lives for the better. He was my surgeon. That's all he had to say. He loves what he does and I trusted him to perform the surgery for me. So shop around. Okay. Number 3. This is extremely important. That's why it's at the top of the list. I think all of these are important, but this is extremely important. You need to know how much it's really going to cost. Not how much you think it's going to cost, right? I myself have a high deductible health plan, so my deductible is $4,000. So I knew going in that my costs were going to be at least $4,000 cash money, okay? But because my insurance company had a long list of prerequisites, I needed to know how much those tests were going to cost me in copays and if they applied to my deductible, which of those tests were covered by the insurance, which were not. And so total, my out-of-pocket expense, just in medical expenses, is almost $6,000. And that's important for you to know. That's not including the things that you need to purchase to support your process. That's not including your food scale. That's not including your abdominal binder. That's not including your wedge pillow if you choose to do that. That's not including any type of support holes for your legs if you choose to purchase those. That's not including any of that. And I have not even started to scratch the surface on protein, vitamins, and food. Okay? So you really want to sit down and go through a list of things that you believe you want to have. Something that I wasn't expecting to purchase that I do have now are my new water bottles so that I can measure how much water I'm drinking every day. And then also my baby food containers. I have a set of baby food containers. They come in 2, 4, and 7 ounces. It lets me monitor how much food I'm consuming, and it allows me to pack my snacks on the go. But you need quite a few of them, right? Because we're eating pretty much small sums, but pretty consistently throughout the day. So you want to know how much all of these things are going to cost you so that nothing catches you off guard. If you need more information about expenses or about some of the things that I purchased, hit me up in the comments. I will respond to you. You can also direct message me on Instagram at Quiana Downsizing, and I will give you a list and share some of my best practices with you. Okay? All right. Number 4. This is a big one. Okay? This is something that I learned with the last surgery when I had my lap band. That stayed true for this surgery. Your taste buds are going to change and your food tolerances will change. So a funny story, when I had the lap band, a few months after having the lap band, I started noticing that I was having a reaction to seafood, okay? I started getting itchy. Sometimes my throat would itch. Sometimes I would even visibly break out, like my lips would swell up, and I would need to have Benadryl. And that's because the lap band had changed my absorption rate, and so I did not tolerate seafood the way that I could before, okay? And then when I had the lap band removed, I went right back to being able to eat seafood, and I'm just praying that I don't have another absorption issue now that I've had the sleeve, but it is a possibility. Also, things that used to taste good to you or taste a certain way could very likely change as a result of the surgery. Some things will come back to normal. Some things will never come back to normal. One of the things that changed for me is the way eggs taste. Now, I've heard of people who can't even tolerate eggs anymore. Luckily, that's not my situation, but eggs certainly do have a different taste to me. Not a nasty taste. I still enjoy them, but it does not taste the same. And so you need to be prepared for that because your body has gone through this traumatic, serious medical procedure, and it may not tolerate foods the way that it used to. So just be prepared that some of your favorite foods might not go down the same way anymore. Okay? All right. Number 5. Okay, this probably should be a little bit higher on the list. But for whatever reason, it made it to number 5. All weight loss tools are not created equal. Okay? When we decide to do something as serious as going on a weight loss journey, such as having a surgery to help us to implement a tool that's really going to impact the way that we eat food, we see food, we absorb food, we are expecting some phenomenal results. You may not get them, honey. You may not get the results you're looking for. That doesn't mean give up on the process like I did and wait 14 years to get a new tool, okay? Don't do that to yourself. Talk to your doctor. Keep those lines of communication open and be open to trying something else. One of the reasons why it took me 14 years is because I did not want to have gastric bypass, and I didn't want anybody talking to me about any other surgery unless they were removing the band. I did not want to hear it. I had already done this. It did not work for me. I was done. I was willing to live fat. That was my choice. Nobody could say anything to me about it. But the longer I waited, and the more I threw up, and the more I was in pain when I ate, and the more my food got stuck in my band, it was like, this isn't working. You need to do something else. And the truth of it was, Key, be for real. You didn't want to be fat like that the whole time. You didn't. But you had given up on being willing to try something else. So by the time I was willing, I did Weight Watchers, I did Atkins, I did personal training for a while. So I started all of these other things to try and help me. And then eventually I made it to the point where I was like, hey girl, all right, let's think about something else. And that's my story. So just keep that in mind. There's the bypass, there's the sleeve, there's the dwindle switch. There are so many. There is a sleeve correction that I'm starting to hear more and more about, where if you stretched out your band, your sleeve, you can maybe get it surgically tightened again. So there are so many things out there. Do your research and just be willing to do whatever it takes if it's necessary for you. Okay? Number 6. Now, and you have to know this. Now you have to know this, okay? Number 6 is that this is not the easy way out. Now, no matter what people say, okay? No matter what people say, this is not the easy way out. And even when you get into some of these online support groups, at first when you join the support group, everybody's happy. They love it. It's the best thing that they could have ever done. And I can guarantee you, the closer you get to your surgery, the more horror stories you're going to see. They just going to be in your timeline. Just people having adverse reactions, people being in the hospital for long periods of time, people not being able to eat, not being able to drink. That's the trick of the enemy, and we got to overcome that. But the most important thing about this is that you need to know going in that this may not be easy, that you may have complications, that you will be uncomfortable. You will be uncomfortable. That there are days that you may say to yourself, I should not have done this under any circumstances. This was a mistake. But that's okay. I already told you in the last video, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. So, this is not the easy way. Don't think that it's going to be easy. It's a tool to help you reach your goals, and it is possible. All right. Number 7. You need to be ready to fight. Be ready to fight. Be ready to fight. Be ready to fight for yourself. Okay? Be ready to fight for yourself. Okay? Listen here. I'm going to tell you why. Everybody is not going to respect your journey. But that doesn't mean you have to allow them to disrespect it. Okay? If someone does not respect your journey, okay, that's fine. You need to keep that information to yourself. That is not something that you need to share with me. And once you decide that you're going to share that with me, I'm ready to fight. Not physically, but I'm willing to gently, politely, or unpolitely, however your personality is, tell you that this is not your place. That you don't have the right to impose your thoughts and feelings about my choice on me. This is my life, and I'm doing what's best for me. Let me give you an example. I decided that at work, I wasn't going to share the story with too many people. So we have someone in our office who works very closely with my CFO, and my department reports up through the CFO. And she knew that I was out, and when she inquired about it, someone said, oh, she's out on medical leave. And I only took a couple days off. And when I returned to the office, she said, hey, how are you doing? I heard you were out on medical leave. I said, oh, yes, everything is good. And she was like, you know, well, what happened? Are you okay? And she kept pushing, and I kind of danced around it. And then I said, you know, I'm not hiding this from anybody. I'll tell her. So I just told her, I said, oh, I went out. I made the decision to have weight loss surgery. And, you know, I was only out a couple days, so I'm back. And so she said, oh, you had weight loss surgery? And I was like, yeah. She was like, my cousin had weight loss surgery. And she said to me, there's a fat girl still living in here. And she went through that process, and she had the gastric sleeve. What did you have? And I was like, oh, I had the gastric sleeve. She's like, oh my God, you're going to gain all of your weight back. She was like, because she said there was a fat girl living inside of her, and that fat girl returned. She did all of that to lose 100 pounds, and she's gained it back plus 15 more. So I said to her, why are you telling me that? Well, I just thought that you would want to know. That's none of my concern. I said, look, I'm doing what's best for me. I understand that the surgery wasn't successful for your cousin, and I'm sorry to hear that. And if she wants some support, you can give her my email address, and we can team up, and we can buddy and see if we can get her back on track. But her horror story is not mine. So any more negative feedback that you have, I don't even want to hear about it. If you know anybody else who had the surgery, I don't want to hear about it. I got to do this for myself, and I'm too fragile right now to be discouraged. You understand? Okay, good. You have to be willing to stand up for you. because people will continue to feed you that negativity as long as you're willing to take it in. Don't be anybody's trash can. Their emotional trash can, their horror story trash can. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let them keep that negativity right where it is, and we're going to stay right on over here in positivity land. Okay? Now, last one, I promise. You need to prepare your support system. If you have a group of people that are going to support you, prepare them. Share with them the things that you have learned along the way so that they can push you, but not too much. They can encourage you. They can understand when to go forward and when to pull back. Okay? I have been extremely blessed. I mean, more than I can even say to you all about my support system. They have just been a phenomenal support system. You all know my mom sends me cards almost every week. My sister will text me encouraging texts to say, keep going, don't give up. She looks at pictures of me and then she starts pointing out every little single thing that she thinks has changed. My husband's been phenomenal. He eats the way that I eat most of the time. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But he doesn't stop me. He talks about how good I look. He doesn't allow me to feel insecure about the process. And let me tell you about that daughter of mine. Now, you would think my daughter was my mama, but I'm actually her mama. I'm her mama. So right after I had my surgery, I drop her off somewhere and I didn't realize I was going to have to pick her up so quick. So I sneak to McDonald's to go get an ice cream cone, okay? And I'm like, ooh, I'm just going to eat as much of this ice cream cone as I can before she get back in the car. And I'm on full liquids. This is when I made it past clear liquids. So I'm on full liquids. And this is the one time throughout the entire thing that I actually cheated. I just want to point this out. And you'll understand why I feel like this was not a cheat. So as soon as I get the ice cream cone and I walk back to my car, I've only gotten in 2 licks, 3 licks. She calls me and she's like, Mom, come pick me back up. So I'm like, shoot. Well, you know what? It don't matter because I'm grown and she's my daughter. And if I want to eat this ice cream cone, I can. Okay? So I drive over to her. So at this point, I've probably had 5 licks because I'm not very far from where she is. I may be a minute or 2 away from where she is, but my plan was to sit in the car and eat this ice cream cone. So I'm 5 licks into my ice cream cone. She gets in the car. I make a U-turn. I'm pulling out of the parking lot and I'm getting ready to get on the highway. Okay? And I'm driving with my left hand and I have the ice cream cone right here in my right hand and she's right here in the passenger side. I need y'all to picture this in your mind. Okay? I've had at this point maybe 7 licks of my ice cream cone. And she says, Mom, you got ice cream? I was like, yeah, I just thought I could try it. And she was like, it's not sugar free. I was like, yeah, I know. And she snatches my ice cream cone out my hand and throws it out my car window. She throws it out of the car window. I've had maybe 7 or 8 licks of this. It was still tall. The ice cream cone was still tall. Okay? And I'm driving. All I could do was sit there with my mouth open. That's all I could do. And be outraged. Why would she do that? Let me tell y'all why. Because she understood the assignment. She was part of my support system. She understood I was only supposed to have sugar-free items. And she was protecting me. And she was not going to allow me and my sugar addiction to self-sabotage my journey. Her throwing that ice cream cone out the window was the best thing she could have ever done for me. Because, 1, it let me know This was not the thing to do. And that was truly my sugar addiction saying, hey, you can have a little bit of this. You can have a little bit of that. Don't be scared, right? And she kept me on track. That was her job as my support system, okay? Now, I wanted to beat her like she was a little kid. But she's a grown woman now. And I do think I could take her. Don't get it twisted. I really do. I still think I could take her, right? But I respect her too much for that. We have evolved from that. And so I would never tell her that I'm happy that she took the ice cream cone from me. But she really did something that was a blessing to me. So my last thing on my list of things that you need to be prepared to do is to make sure that you prepare your support system. I hope this information has been helpful to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you made it through your drink and your snack. Hopefully you did. This is probably the longest video I've ever done. But I wanted to share this information with you because I had a crazy week 9. I'm so glad that it's over. And I am looking forward to see what next week brings. Now, I'm not going to say nothing about how much weight I want to lose. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Out of here. But I am grateful to see that little boost in my weight loss. And I am just, it renewed my sense of confidence in this process. And so I'm just glad that I had the week that I did. And so next week, if I lose 1 pound or if I lose 2 pounds or if I have a stall, it's okay. I'm ready. I'm committed and I'm not giving up. All right, family, downsizers, I love you for all of your love and support. Thank you for checking in with me. Thank you for sending me ideas on new videos to create. Keep those coming. I have a lot of more stuff coming your way. Be positive. All right. And also, God bless. Talk to you soon.